Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, and today I would like to do the October reading for the month, and it is for the air signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I work with the elements more so than the zodiac, so I work with the energy that backs the zodiac. And if you have your charts done, there's a spot on there that says elemental alignment or something along those lines. And in that, you will see the earth, air, fire, water symbols. If you look at the air as a very powerful one in your chart, then these messages could be for you. And if it resonates, great. And if it doesn't, that is fine. It's for another air sign out there. And I read week to week, and there are 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks, but we'll go with 5 weeks for October. And I draw cards for a guide for the week or a guardian, a message from source, which is a supporting energy, and then we look at a lesson or a challenge, something to be aware of for that week. So with that, we'll get started with the first guide or guardian, if the cards would talk to me. There we go. So your guide for this first week is the Ascended Master Yogananda and Rhodonite. I step into my rightful spiritual place with dignity, reverence, and grace. My higher purpose is empowered by the divine. My connection to the light is strong, unwavering, and enduring, so much that my trust in its power and presence is unconditional. I accept the invitation from the universe to step into a new level of expression and fulfillment. I open my heart to the divine harvest of blessings pouring into my soul, and I recognize the readiness within my soul. Rhodonite is a really good stone to work with your heart chakra. In my Facebook group just recently, I was doing a chakra meditation, and Rhodonite was one of the stones that we used for it. And it has such a gentle, healing energy, but it helps you wake up to the blessings of what the heart really means. And it's that compassion, it's that sharing your energy with others and allowing them to help you back. And so this is a good way to help balance the heart chakra. And that's probably the chakra you should work with for this first week, is working through your heart. And the Ascended Master Yogananda is actually a Hindu teacher, and so it's a good way to start tapping into some Eastern meditation, some yoga if you haven't been doing that. But this is that first week's energy, is really about tapping into your heart and finding that balance. So your message from source is believe. So as you tap into your heart and as you work with that energy, it's a way to help you access and understand and really put the belief into your spiritual practice. Sometimes our practices become a little mundane and a little boring. They're just repetitive. It's what we do every day. And if we bring the belief back into it of there is a higher energy out there, there is a God source, divine, universal energy that actually will reinvent and reinvigorate our practices. And so the message from source is really this month, for this first week, is tapping into that spiritual presence and really start to work with our belief. And what is it in our beliefs that's working for us? What is it, things that we've been believing that maybe aren't so great for us? And these are some journal prompts, is like, what's working in my belief system and maybe what isn't working in my belief system. So this first week is really about tapping back into who you are and what you believe. So your challenge or lesson is the 10 of Fire. Too much work, accept help from others, life is out of balance, and stress-related concerns. So you have the Rhodonite coming in as your guide this week, who's bringing in the energy of, let's find some balance, let's work with the heart. The heart is actually the balancing point between the lower chakras, survival, business, everyday mundane projects, and the upper chakras of intellectual pursuits, artistic creation, and the connection to source. And so then you have the belief, like it's time to really get back to who you are. Find your belief systems again. Clear out the stuff that's not working. And the reason is you're coming to the end of a cycle. The 10 of Fire is saying you're at the end of this cycle. It's been a really passionate, kind of crazy little cycle that's been going on the last little bit. And for air signs who value intellect, it's been probably more stressful than it would be for some of the other signs. And so what this is saying is you've put in a lot of effort, you've put in a lot of drive, you put in the time, and you've almost put yourself into an exhausted state. So it's time to step back. If you need help at work, don't be afraid to ask for it. Have someone else take on that project you're working on. Ask your spouse to help around the house with a minor project so you guys can do it together. But the main message here is life is out of balance. So you have Rhodonite coming in saying, let's find some new balance. And then you have the belief of, I need to reconnect with Source. I need to find out who I am at my spiritual level again. And so that's really the focus of this first week. And the warnings are, if you have too much work, you're going to burn out. And if you're not finding that balance, things are going to become really unstable, and that can cause a lot of chaos. So try working with the new balance for this first week of October. So the second week for the air signs is the goddess Pele and lava stone. It says, melt into the divine desire. I drop into my heart, welcoming awareness of my deepest soul desires. I allow myself to be moved by my heart, igniting my higher purpose through sacred passions. My heart's desires carry the genius of magnetic attraction, effortlessly pulling into my world all that is needed for spiritual fulfillment. I am so deeply motivated by what moves my heart that I allow divine consciousness to flow through me unimpeded and transforms my inner vision to creative expressions. I allow love to transform me in all areas. So your guide is lava stone, which is surprisingly common but uncommon as far as stones go, and the goddess Pele, which is a Hawaiian deity. So you're really wanting to, the first week was finding balance, and this week it's reinvigorating that passion that lives within you. And by doing that, you're dropping out of your higher intellectual and creative and spiritual connected chakras. You're bringing it back down into the heart again. So you're bringing it more into balance. And I'm getting the feeling that this month is going to be about balance for air signs, because things have been a little out of whack just in general. And as air signs who value intellect and look at reason and logic, your escapism is to flightiness and kind of being space cadets. And that's not a bad thing. That's a way to survive when the world goes crazy. But this is really about tapping back into your heart and refinding your balance. Refinding that spot so you know when you can have fun and be that, more adventurous, flighty spirit, and when you need to step back into the more serious role of the intellectual. So working with the goddess Pele and bringing in, maybe even carrying around a piece of lava stone that's polished or somehow set so that it's not tearing up your clothes, is a good idea just to work with. And you can probably get away with using obsidian because it is a lava-based stone as well. And the message from Source is grace. So you've been working with all of this intense energy. It's really been a stressful time. The first week of October is really about finding your balance. The second week is giving grace to others, but also giving grace to yourself. Things have been chaotic, and what this is saying is showing grace, showing forgiveness and compassion to your own heart, your own soul, and your own mind is just as important as sharing it with others. And giving it to other people is awesome. It's a great way to release yourself from karmic stress. But it's also something that if you do for yourself, you can become more gentle and more compassionate when things may not go the way you want them to. This card is saying it's okay. Show yourself the grace, give yourself the time, and work through the process. So tapping back into that more graceful, calm state is the big message for the second week. So let's look at what the tarot has to say for the lesson or challenge for this week. It is a life lesson. So this is the major arcana card of number 20, renewal. So working with Archangel Jeremiel, review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts, time to move in a new direction. So this card is really saying you've done a lot of work and you're showing the grace. You're tapping into that higher self through your heart energy. And the reason is this is a period of renewal for you. It's time to cast away what's been. Time to reevaluate. Is it something that you need or not? And if it's something you need to keep or something you want to keep with you, how can you change it into something higher? And that's where it's at reviewing and evaluating. Through the first week, you're finding your balance. You're getting rid of stuff that's not working. You're enhancing the stuff that is. Maybe take a little bit more time off work, put more time into the family, things like that to bring in that balance. And the second week is, now as you're doing that, find a way to find balance with your heart. Be graceful with yourself and with others. And the reason is you're going through a process of renewal. And so you start to move into a new direction during these times. Things can get a little chaotic. And this card is just saying, heads up, things are changing. And they're saying it's going to be for the good, but it's going to maybe be a little bit rough in the interim. So let's see what the third week has for us. I don't want 5 cards, just 1 or 2. So your message or your guide or guardian for this third week is the goddess Kali, and obsidian is your stone. Sacred revolution. I release all allegiances to the old cycles, opening my soul to the birthing process of the Divine Mother, who guides me into the highest fulfillment of my potential. An entirely new order is established. In respect of this great unfolding power, I am willing to be moved, inspired, and guided to embrace new approaches and responses. I possess the courage required for change, and I trust the universe loves me, and I let it go. So you have some very strong feminine energy, not so much with Yogananda, but the other two so far this month. Your second week was goddess Pele, and this third week is goddess Kali. Kali and obsidian are both volatile, to say it, put it mildly. The goddess Kali is actually a death goddess in a lot of parts of Hinduism, but there's a part of her that people miss, and that is of the Divine Mother. She is a goddess of death, destruction, and transformation, but she's also a protector of innocence and children. She's the goddess that will guide you through the underworld process to the rebirthing process and the karmic patterns. And the stone obsidian can be a reflection mirror so that you can scry with it. It can also be a weapon. I mean, obsidian knives have been used for years. So you have a goddess who's got this beautiful, soft, compassionate side, but also this warrior that will take out the world. And you have a stone that can be the most soothing, calming thing to review, but also be used as a weapon. And so your guide and your guardian for this week are very much about, you have support from the spiritual side that you may not even realize, and it's there to protect you, to guide you, and to comfort you as you're going through this. So if you can find some obsidian to tote around with you, that's awesome, and maybe look a little bit more into what the goddess Kali really is, because she is quite the goddess when you start digging into her lore and her myths. So for this message from Source, we have 2 cards that popped up. One is sensitivity, and the other is the unexpected. So you've got very powerful energies that's guiding you, and it's because you're becoming more sensitive. You're tapping into that heart chakra. You're really starting to get into your emotions a little bit more. And for the air signs, that's foreign territory for a lot of the time, because the elemental air works up here, not in your heart. And so what this card is saying is bring yourself more into that compassionate, sensitive side, and be ready for the unexpected this week. Good unexpected. The miraculous can happen in this third week. It can also be something minor like a pay raise that you were unexpected for, or a bonus or something like that. But you have the goddess Kali and obsidian, which are strong, compassionate, and protective energies coming in. They're helping you develop your sensitivity because they can keep a lot of the negative energies away from you. But you're also setting yourself up for the unexpected, which is that miraculous part of life where things just happen where you're not planning. You might have a plan, but something fun and interesting can actually interrupt your plan and make it a better week than what you originally thought. So let's look at the lesson or challenge in the tarot for this third week of August. Going backwards in time. It is the 5th card in the major arcana. So these are life lesson cards. And that is Unity with Archangel Sandalphon. Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations, and seeking out mentors and like-minded friends. And so as you're going through this process of developing your sensitivity, you're tapping into the unexpected, you're working with some very powerful feminine energies that are protective and very defensive, but compassionate at the same time. You have Archangel Sandalphon coming in saying, let's get you into a good space. Let's find you some new friends. Let's get you having fun again and connecting at a spiritual level. So if you're in a new spiritual path and you may not have a lot of people associated, this kind of a card can really be good because it will help. Working with Archangel Sandalphon can help tap you into a group of like-minded people so that your social circle can be as much balance as are all the other circles in your life. And working with the unity aspect of it, it's not going to be that you're all going to think the same, but it's going to be that there's support there when you have challenges on your spiritual path, or if you have questions, someone who's either been there, done that before you, Or maybe you're the one who's there to help guide one of the newer members in the group to a deeper level of their understanding, but that builds a spiritual unity and a spiritual community. So this third week is all about tapping into and learning how to work with the unity in a social structure, especially if it's spiritual related. So let's look at the fourth week guide. Oh. And we have 2. Apparently there's a lot of energy coming in for the air signs this month. So this is for your fourth week, and you have the goddess Lakshmi, which is another Hindu deity, and dendritic agate, which is a really cool agate because it has little veins, almost like a moss, but the veins tend to be little black lines in it, but with agate being clear. It's a really cool stone. And the message with this one is the golden grace. Enlightenment, prosperity, goodness, and grace flow through and around you. It's through your soul's dance in soft golden honey-like energy, abundant with nourishment and healing properties. Through her gentleness, the goddess offers your soul an irresistible invitation to receive blessings and emanate the beauty of the divine. There is a gentler way through which you make even greater spiritual progress. You joyfully and peacefully accept this path and allow your heart to let go. That's the first card. And the second one is the Ascended Master El Moria and Blue Star Sapphire, which is your higher will. I surrender into the purpose I was born to fulfill. I embrace my delicious divine destiny. I allow my spiritual inspiration to flow through my heart and align me with higher plans for my soul. The universe is guiding me with goodwill and positive affirmations, encouraging me to believe in myself and grow. The universe knows what I need to fulfill my purpose and provides me with kindness and enthusiasm. You trust the universe and yourself and faithfully create the beautiful path one step at a time. So these stones, interestingly enough, are, there we go. Both stones you can find in Idaho. The Star Sapphire is actually one of the state stones. So that's just a side note, has nothing to do with the reading. But the goddess Lakshmi is actually a very, very peaceful, loving goddess, whereas Kali is this warrior out there defending the territory and, kicking rear ends and not taking names at all because she don't care. But she also is very protective of the people that she's guarding. You have Lakshmi, who is this divine compassion. She wants to be there to help support everybody. So this third week, it was all about a little bit more of aggression with your defense, like they're keeping away the really heavy stuff. This week, it's about tapping into that more sensitive aspect. It really looks like this month is about heart and change as well for the air signs. And then you have the blue sapphire, which is really about intellectually growing, but it's about tapping into your higher frequencies. Lakshmi is going to help you bring in the divine feminine, but it's because there's an imbalance. And so you bring in the divine feminine to balance out the divine masculine, and then it allows you to access higher and higher aspects of who you are. And so those are your guides and guardians for the fourth week. And if you can find, honestly, the dendritic agate is going to be way easier to get a hold of than star sapphire in most cases, just because they're kind of a rare stone, star sapphires. But let's move into the message from the fourth week, which is open-minded. So as you're working with these guides through this month, you have this divine feminine energy coming in, and you've got, I just lost the names, the goddess Lakshmi and the Ascended Master El Moria coming through to help guide you and protect you. And it's because it's time to start opening your mind. You've been working in through your heart. You've been really tapping into your sensitivity and getting more aligned with that frequency. And now it's time to start looking at things from this more compassionate state, which is going to open your mind up. So the rigid box that we like to put ourselves in is not working anymore. And so what that's saying is, with this open-minded part, it allows you to see things from a different perspective. And you have the goddess coming in saying, let's look at things from a more compassionate state. You have the star sapphire coming forward saying, okay, now we're looking at it from a compassionate state. Let's look at it from a higher state. So you're bringing your energy up. You're working with these different deities, unlocking your heart, opening your mind, and tapping into the higher self, your holy guardian angel, your higher self, your connection to God and goddess source energy. And so that's what's really coming forward for this week, is learning to be more open-minded as you work through this process of reevaluating your belief system, finding grace with yourself, getting into the unexpected, and getting more sensitive. It's because it's time to start opening your eyes to a bigger picture, the bigger worldview, and a more sensitive worldview. So let's look at the challenge or lesson for this fourth week is the Page of Earth. Scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful. Good news about financial matters, wanting to do something more challenging, and a new area of study or research. So as you're going through, you're getting more compassionate, you're opening yourself up to your higher self. You're starting to open your mind and open your eyes to things that are changing. And what that's leading to is it's time for the new beginning that you've been working through. You have a period of renewal and reconnecting with people of a spiritual or similar mindset to you. And the reason is you have new things coming, and something new is going to come up that you're going to want to research and look into. And this is saying, be open to the dedication that's going to take for this new area of research, study, or education. And it doesn't have to be in the standard cultural way of sitting in a classroom for 6 to 10 hours a day doing dissertations and writing out letters. And I mean, some air signs absolutely love that stuff, but it could be something as interesting as taking a course on pottery. It could be picking up a book on the beauties of stones. It could be them taking an intuitive course to help you develop your intuitive clairs and things like that. But be open to that during this fourth week. Now, the fifth week that we're going into is actually like 2 or 3 days. But the fifth week of October has Samhain, which is Halloween, All Saints, All Hallows Eve, the various names throughout history. So this is a very delicate week. So you've been doing a lot of intense studies and research through this month, it looks like, and it's coming down to being more open-minded and working with some very gentle goddesses to be open to some changes and something new things coming through. And so this fifth week, be aware that the veil between worlds is thinner, so you're going to have, especially if you're more intuitive or more sensitive, this is going to be a more interesting time because the veil literally thins between the worlds, and so this is a very powerful time of the year according to the ancients. So your fifth week guardian and stone is Archangel Gabriel and turquoise. It is safe to be seen. I trust the divine timing and loving wisdom that guide me to shine my light for spiritual benefit of all beings. The light within me is one of great universal source of love, light, and wisdom. It strengthens protection. Its strength, protection, truth, and grace can be trusted to provide all that I need for me to step forward and manifest my sacred purpose. I release the past and step into the higher reality now available to me. I shine true and bright. So, you've been going through a month of some challenges, some waking up, tapping more into your emotional, compassionate side, and your ending period for this month is you're tapping into Archangel Gabriel, tapping into your water. You've been really focusing on the divine feminine through a lot of the energy through this month, which is triggering the compassion. It's bringing you out of the intellectual mind into the more emotional heart and finding the new balance that goes with that. And so you have Archangel Gabriel coming forward for this fifth week saying it's okay to allow your emotions to come forward. You don't have to let them dominate. Don't do that. But allowing yourself to feel and allow these emotions to be more active allows your intuition to wake up as well. And you allow yourself to be seen in a spiritual sense. You allow yourself to be seen in a business sense. If you've been feeling like you've been hiding at your job or things have been kind of not going so great, they're giving me messages. And this is the time to step up and say, no, it's okay for me to be out. It's okay for me to step forward and say what's on my mind. It's okay for me to basically reveal the fact that I may follow an alternative religion, spiritual path. I might not think the way you do. And this Archangel Gabriel is saying compassionately, it's okay. You can come over here and we can talk about it. So your message from Source is perspective. And this is where you have shifted through this month. Everything that has come up is a way to change your perspective. You have altered your beliefs, you've re-examined them, seen what worked and what didn't work. You've tapped into the grace, showing yourself grace. I had to check the card because I couldn't remember the word. And and you've allowed yourself to forgive others and forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made in this life and maybe in past lives. You've started to tap into that more sensitive part of who you are. You've experienced more unexplained things, but they're also fun. The unexplained and the unplanned can actually lead you to a lot of exciting explorations of your life. And what it's done is it's helped you shift your perspective. So this month is going to be pretty heavy with changing perspectives, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. It allows you to experience life in a different way, and it's going to become more fulfilling by allowing some of these things to shift and change. Since we are in that period of shifting and changing, it's August or autumn. So you're shifting out of the summer into the winter. You're letting go of that more powerful divine masculine. You're tapping more into the more feminine aspect, more introspective work versus the outside busy work that usually goes on in the more warm months. So your lesson or challenge for this 5th week is the 5 of Earth. Fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, and uncertain self-employment. So really, you've done a lot of work, and now it's coming down to this period of you've set things up to move forward for yourself. You're setting things up to really better the people around you, your family, and your employment, and you still have a little bit of doubt. This card is really saying that doubt is unfounded now. You've done the work. You've cleared stuff out. And there may be a shift in your employment. There may be a shift in your home life. And it could be subtle shifts. It doesn't have to be major. And what it's saying is be open to these new changes. Be open to these new styles of life. And allow people to help you. If someone comes up and says, I see you're struggling, what can I do to help? Explain your situation if you trust them. I mean, obviously, that's a huge part of it. Follow your intuition. But explain how things are going, and if you're feeling like you're struggling, something's not lining up right, ask for the help. It's perfectly acceptable for this month. There's a lot of intense energy, but you're really going to be working with your divine feminine very heavily. So if there are issues with family lines, especially on the female side, work with forgiveness. Work with getting that out for this month and tapping more into your emotional state. Air signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Because as air signs, you tend to be more intellectual, and this is really a reminder too, you have another part to who you are, and that is your emotional state. So try to work with that a little bit more this month as well. With that, the reading is over. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you like what I'm doing here, you go ahead and click the subscribe button for the channel. Like the video, I really do appreciate that. And I am open to any and all comments, positive and negative. My only request is that we be respectful, because I think we can all use some more of that in our lives. So other than that, I will talk to you again in a future video, and I hope you have an awesome month of October.